everyone, this is Drawing with Paolo. Today another special request, a Viking. And so this will be our Viking's head and face, sort of over here. We're going to have his head tilted forward, and of course we'll be able to see his horns, the horns on his helmet, like this, a horn on either side. And then they'll be attached to the helmet in here. Then of course we'll have the middle part of his face and then his chin sort of over here. And we'll have his shoulders like here, the traps in the shoulders. These are the shoulders more down here. Because he's going to be holding an axe in the middle of his body with just two hands, a two-handed axe. So here's his elbow and his forearm. Here's his other elbow and forearm. And then right over here we'll have both his hands together. Nice circle here in the middle. And he'll be holding an axe, two-handed axe, right in the center. And so we're going to redesign this just a little bit. This is where his shoulders are going to be drooping down, his triceps, his forearms, and then we'll have like his chest muscles sort of over here. This is this chest muscles here, pectoris, and then there's going to be a middle line here where his abs are, and then sort of over here is where we're going to have his pelvis and then legs splayed apart on either side like that. And so this is really the foundation of what our character is going to look like, with his thighs over here, like this. And this is it. This is what we're looking for, all right? This Viking form, position that we want. Next step, of course, is we want to put in a stick right here, right in the middle. Just like that on either side, maybe a little taller, like this. And then this is where the axe will come out from. And so now what we need to do is draw in his face a little bit better. So let's draw his helmet, a little bit of a point at the tip, and round this part out a little bit more. This will be the thickness of its helmet. Lines back here. And then we'll draw in the horns a little bit better. Retrace those lines like that. Same thing for the other side. Trace out the horn with a nice S-curve like this. And then you want to really erase everything that's inside there. We don't need those lines anymore. Get rid of them. Retrace the lines that you've erased, so like this one, for example. And a little bit over here. All right, retrace this outline down here. Thickness of his helmet, sort of like that. All right, and then what we want to do is add his beard. Hair and beard, it's a combination, right? The hair flows into the beard, and so it's difficult to tell where one starts and where the other ends. This is more of a beard shape right over here. The beard contour sort of follows the body contours. And so we'll have his nose sort of here and his bridge of his nose this way, and we'll have like the side of his beard like this and the top of his mustache. And then we'll erase the lines inside there. All right, let me retrace these lines. Okay, then what we want to do is make sure to draw a little bit of a cheekbone on either side here, just so we can establish more face details. I'm going to retrace now the beard with a bit more locks, flowing locks within the beard here, a little bit more detail. We drew in the foundation lines, and now that the foundation lines are drawn, we're just going to add a bit of detail, curves and things like that, to really set the beard in position. Okay, this is where the axe blade will lie, right over here. Nice vertical line, and then it'll curve down to the bottom, sort of like this, like a fish hook, and then this will curve up, and then we'll have a nice curved shape that goes all the way to the bottom like this, just like that. Can you see that? Now this stuff is what represents our axe. So we can retrace that line a little bit darker now that we have our foundation built, just like this, all the way down. And then we can erase the content inside here. Get rid of that. We don't need that anymore. Then this will be the hilt of his axe, sort of a rounded top like this. And then I want sort of like a metal ball at the tip of it so that he can actually whack people with it if he wanted to. And there's a bit of a thickness to that metal ball at the bottom. And all this stuff, get rid of that. We don't need that. We need a thickness to the axe sort of over here, like this. And we need to get rid of these little lines. So I'll use my eraser. I'll show you how I do it instead of swiping with my hand. Just really dab and pull. And we'll retrace those lines that we've erased while while getting rid of those lines we don't want. Okay, so there's our axe. What we want to do is add a little bit of reflection here. This is a chrome ball. I will color that in real quickly. And then retrace the chrome exterior sort of reflection. This sort of reflecting the bottom, right, the ground. And just a little bit of darkness up here with maybe a reflection of his face inside there. And then we'll add a scuff marks. And this edge here is also chrome. So we'll color in these chrome lines. And to get a good idea of how to draw chrome, look at your door handles at home. Most door handles are either chrome or metallic or very highly reflective. And so if you want to draw something like that, just sit in front of that door handle and draw away. All right, let's add a bicep over here on the left side. There's a nice curved line for the bicep, which attaches to the deltoid muscle over here, and then the tricep, which attaches to the elbow, which goes to the forearm. Same thing on this side. Here's a deltoid, which attaches to the tricep muscle, and then the bicep over here, and then the forearm. So a lot of people have been asking, hey, can you draw more people? Well, there you go. This Viking is a person, and a very muscular one in this case, so it'll give you a good idea of how to draw musculature and the human body. But the best way to draw humans, folks, is to sit in front of one and draw what you see. So have your dad, mom, person responsible for you, or your kids, have them sit in front of you and draw what you see. Just sit down and give it a shot. Look at what they look like and draw away, and that's the best way to draw human beings. We've got some all around us, so even if you're sitting in the bus or in the subway, pull out your pad and paper and draw people, and it's the best way to learn. Now all this stuff here, we can get rid of that, over here too. Don't need that stuff on the right side either. So I don't need all those bone lines inside there anymore. Once my outlines are completed, I can get rid of all that stuff and retrace the lines that I've erased. All right. We want overlapping lines too. See how I'm making certain lines overlap others? And this will give more of a 3D sense to our drawing. Rather than just doing an outline. See, this line overlaps that one. I'm going to use my sheet of paper here to protect my drawing. This line overlaps here. And that's very important to give a better sense of realism to our drawing. Little line here. This one overlaps on top of the bicep, sort of like that. And then to the forearm. All right, this will be a shirt line, sort of over here. And we'll do the same thing here on the right side. Shirt line. And then he's got like metal cuffs here, like a gauntlet wrapping around his wrist. He can defend himself with that. And then over here, we'll put a little bit of a leather thickness to his shirt, or sweater, or whatever the heck he's wearing. It's just some kind of leather clothing to protect himself in battle and from the cold. Vikings lived in cold areas, sort of like Canada. And that's why I'm so hairy, because of the cold. Well, not really, but I'm hairy because of genetics. My arms are, anyway. And so we'll put a little circles here, which represent metal studs along the line of that leather sleeve. And we'll draw in this back line here like this. And we'll add a little bit of a thickness here on either side of this. I like when I draw one side to draw the same on the other side, and these lines, you can get rid of that. Erase those. And now we're going to color in the half of these little studs to make them look more metallic-like. So we'll add half circles in here and color all that in. I'll speed this up for the other side because you've seen me do it. I'm sure you can pause this video and then just attack the rest. Now we're going to color in half of his helmet as well. We're going to leave the top part shiny. We're going to put a little bit of a upside down V right here. Squarish V. Just to add detail to his helmet. And we're going to darken the bottom part here. That nice and dark, shadowy area on his face. We'll add a little bit of a thickness here to our V. V for Viking. And color that in. There you go. And then we're going to add a bit of detail to our horns. So we're going to color in the whole horn here. I'm going to accelerate this left one because my hand is sort of blocking the view. And so all I'm going to do is add a layer of gray here everywhere. Nice gray tone, leaving a little bit of white at the top of the horn. And then you're going to see a little bit better here on the right side. The right side I'll sort of color in once again the whole thing in a light shade of gray. And then use a gradient from bottom to top. The bottom part is darkest, leave a little bit of a space. And I might actually make it a bit more reflective at the top. So I'm going to add another darker line right over here. Look at that. That looks pretty cool. So I'll add another dark line on the left side here too. So it looks like it's a reflective surface. Those horns are polished. There we go. Make this a little bit darker. It pops out a little bit more. Color this side in as well. Make this a bit darker at the bottom. Got a nice gradient going. And a gradient, once again, a gradient is from black to white. It's the transition between dark and light, right? So it's a fading of sorts of a color. And so we can fade from left to right, right to left, top to bottom, bottom to top. And you go from dark to light, and that's what we call a gradient. So let's color underneath these horns here and put a bit of shading so we can push that helmet back a little bit. And as you noticed, I erased a little bit of a part there, so it looks, these horns sort of look a bit more transparent with that a little bit of erasing in there. And now I'm going to wrap like a thread around the horn. Just give it some detail. You don't have to if you don't want to. You don't have to draw exactly what I'm drawing. That's okay. You draw what you want to draw. This is why drawing is so much fun. You invent your own stuff, and you become the creator of your drawing. All right, I'm going to color in the top of the helmet a little bit. There you go. Make this a bit darker here too to show that there's a little bit of a curvature in that helmet. All right, so here's his pecs. We're going to draw the pec line over here, and then we're going to color in this belly part. Make that all nice and dark. And I'm going to speed this up. All you need to do is color this in really dark, push that belly back in there. All right, same thing on the left side here. We're going to put his belt line and color all the way to the belt line. Like that. And then we're going to add some abdominal lines here, just a little bit of a zigzaggy line there to make it deeper, make it look like it's deeper, and that we can see his abdominal muscles, otherwise known as a six-pack. And color that in. Same thing here on the left side. Sorry, right side. And we're going to color in the top of the shirt, all in the same neutral kind of gray. But as we're working our way up, as you're working your way up, you want to make it lighter. So over here, we want to make it a little bit lighter, just like that. Lighter at the top of the shoulders and darker towards the chest. And then, of course, the chest part here, this has to be a little bit darker because it's underneath, sort of blocking the light. His head is and chest is as well. So, and it also gives it an idea of a thickness here. And we'll put the chest separation right here. And there's a little bit of a deep recess here where the clavicle meets the trapezius muscle. So this is dark. And we need to erase all this stuff now. All this page is a little dirty. So I'm going to clean that up with one hand swipe. Which in reality I am erasing using my erasing tools. But watching me erase is sort of boring. And so I just use the magic hand wipe. You can't really do that in real life. I don't really do that in real life. It's just all edited in my video. People ask me, hey Paolo, what do you use to edit your videos? Well, I use iMovie on my Mac. And so I film everything with my iPhone 4 and then import everything into iMovie. Then in iMovie, I edit everything. And then I record the audio on top of it afterwards. So I can record in French and in English. And that's why there are 2 videos on YouTube every week. One which is French, one which is English. So you try to reach a lot more people with the different languages. So here's the beard. We're drawing in the beard here. And to make a realistic beard, what you really want to do is overlay lines. Unless your style is different. But the point here is I want to make it really look like it's hair. And so hair lines are layered on top of one another. They don't follow each other, right? So it's not like a road that has lines painted on it. Those lines would never crisscross. They'd always be the same distance apart, sort of like the lines I did on the horns here. But so for the beard, what you really want to do is overlay lines on top of one another to make it look realistic. Now, I'm going to add a bit of shading here underneath the beard, which will push the body back a little bit and bring the beard above and make it look more visible. So we're going to make a really dark line here underneath this beard, especially here on the right side where we can barely see the difference between the beard and the chest. Color that in nice and dark there, and then add a little bit of a blur here, a little bit of a gradient, so that we don't have a really, really dark line, but sort of like a tapered line or tapered shadow. And then we want to erase a little bit of a line here on his nose, but before I do that, I'm going to clean my eraser and then just pull a little line here to make his nose less shadowy and have it pop out. Awesome. And we're going to add a little bit of a shadow underneath his bottom lip here. And then we're going to color in his mustache and his beard. Guys, if you like my drawings, hit the green thumb. That will encourage other people to come and watch these videos. And you can follow me on Twitter and on Facebook. On Twitter, you're going to look for Paolo Morrone. Let's erase all these lines here. We don't need that. So Paolo Morrone on Twitter. And on Facebook, Drawing with Paolo. That's my Facebook page. So here we're going to draw veins to his bicep. And that'll add a bit of realism to our drawing. There we go, a few veins there, and we're going to color that stuff in. So we're going to leave a little bit of white here at the top of the shoulder and color the bottom part. And we'll leave it rather light, right? This is skin tone, and Vikings are known to be a little pale, I would say. And so we're going to just shadow here on the left side of the vein and on the right side, leaving that nice and bright inside there. And then we're going to shadow the bottom of the bicep, because there is a bulge there, so we want to make that nice and dark. And then we're going to color the left side here of his forearm, just like that. And we're going to add a bit of a deltoid line here. The deltoids have multiple lines in them as they are separated by multiple different muscles. There are 3 heads, but the heads are, there's like different lines inside there. And we're going to color here the leather part of his shirt. Make this all one tone, but underneath each circle here, each stud, we're going to make this a little darker to recreate the shadows that these studs are producing on his shirt. And I'm going to color in the thickness here a little bit. I like to make this nice and black, give it a bit more definition. All right, same thing on this right side. We're going to make that nice and black here, and then we're going to color the leather to his shirt as well. See, I'm going to finish the forearm here first. I'm going to add a bit of hair. Maybe he's one of my family members, and so he's got hairy arms. Let me color that in like this. Those of you who like drawing Wolverine, well, this is the Wolverine sort of forearm with hair. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of shading here to his metallic gauntlet, make it look a bit chromy. For those of you who want to learn how to draw metal and chrome, go ahead and look for my my knight in shining armor, knight riding a horse. You can find all these videos on my YouTube channel. That's the best place to go to see all of my videos. My YouTube channel has them all. Let's color his pants in nice and dark. And we're going to erase a little bit of these certain parts here, clean this up a little bit. All right, we're going to retrace the lines that we've erased. And now we're going to draw a bit of detail to his hand here. So just a little bit of a knuckle and not too much detail because the axe is sort of hiding the hand there. Same thing for the one under here. We're just going to color that in a little bit. Just like that. All right. Good to go. So now we're going to trace out a hairy, maybe he's wearing hairy trunks, This is his bathing suit that's made of hair. And this hairy thing is sort of on top of his leather pants. Vikings always have that hair somewhere that they're wearing. And so this left arm, I'm going to color it in sort of like I did the right one. or sorry, the opposite. I'm going to color in this right arm like I did the left one. And I'm going to speed it up so that, you know, you've seen me do the left one, so the right one is pretty much the same. And if you think I'm drawing too quickly, remember to hit the pause button at any time. Pause will help you in order to catch up. I do draw a little bit quickly, but also I'm not showing you how I'm erasing, and so because I'm not erasing, I am drawing a lot faster than you are. Because you really have to erase. In real life out there, outside of YouTube, you are erasing and taking your time. In my case, I'm not erasing at all, and that's what's making me draw so much faster. All right, here's more chromy looks, metallic look. We're going to color that in a little bit, make that nice and dark. So it's a little bit darker than the arm. Wearing a bit of jewelry there. And then we'll color in the bottom side of this forearm here. A bit more darker here where the forearm muscles are flexing. And we'll add hair on this arm as well. There we go. Gotta be patient drawing these guys, you know, all these little lines and details. You can't want to draw too quickly. You have to be patient when you're drawing, and a lot of people say, hey, how do I get as good as you? Well, patience, practice, and time. These things combined will definitely make you a lot better at drawing. Take your time, but there's no, you know, easy way. You just gotta draw, and that's what make it better. Now let's draw these thigh lines out here, like this. And then we're going to color all that in. So I'm going to speed this up because it's just black coloring throughout the whole thigh, like this. And then the bottom left side, bottom right side, we're going to make this nice and dark so it sort of looks like it's thicker at the bottom here. And we're going to do the same thing on the right side. So we're going to color all that stuff in. And how to draw a Viking in 26 minutes. Not bad, right? Color in his leg here. Nice and dark at the bottom of those thighs. And then we're going to use our paper technique here to protect our drawing. And then we're going to add a bit more hair to his suit. So add hair lines. And for those of you that really like the wolf and the leopard and the dog, well, this is the same hair technique. There's really no difference. This Viking has hair, and it comes from an animal. And so the technique to drawing the hair is exactly the same as the leopard and tiger and all those guys. There you go, hair a little bit here. And it has to be darker in the middle part, middle center here. This has to be way darker because the hands are producing shadow on his clothes. So you have to make it nice and dark in the center part. All right, let's color this part too. We're going to color this axe here and make this darker, add a bit of detail. And don't forget the right side here, a little bit darker. This part is shadowy. And then we're going to add a nice little detail to the sharpening point of this blade. And then we're going to add some diagonal lines in here to make it look like it's chrome or metallic. So essentially to draw metal is you draw a dark line, leave a space, draw a dark line, leave a space. And I think we're going to draw a shield here. So we're going to add a shield. He's using his two-handed axe, but at the same time, he could defend himself with this shield here that he's sort of holding on one shoulder. So here's the oval line to that. And then we're going to draw the thickness to that oval line like this. And then we're going to erase these lines. I'll show you how I do that. Instead of the hand swipe, I'm using my pencil eraser here. Pencil-shaped eraser, which are really cool. And then here we're going to draw that leather strap that is attached to his shield, and which is around his shoulder. And that's how we can actually carry his shield that way. There we go, color that in. All right, there we go. And then we're going to color the inside of the shield, just like we did with the Spartan. The whole of it is dark, and the closer you are to the body, the darker it should be, right? So let's do this outline here. Just like this. And then we're going to add some curved lines here, just to add a bit of detail to the edge of this shield. Just like that. Awesome. And Just going to color a little bit more here. We'll add a little bump here. This is like that metal stud right in the middle of the shield that they have. And that's that. You know what? For those of you that wanted a Viking, I hope this one pleases you. We're going to add a few more hairlines, really long hairs coming down out of that suit, just like this. And that's it. This is how you draw a Viking. Guys, thanks for watching Drawing with Paolo. It was a pleasure drawing this Viking with you today. I hope you like it. We'll see you next time on another episode of Drawing with Paolo, DWP. Catch you next time, folks. Have a great day.